The cost of living crisis has overtaken climate change as the most pressing issue for Australians. Therefore, is the preoccupation with climate advocacy that we see from Ms Spender and her Teal colleagues a sign that the elite have more influence in our democracy than the issues facing ordinary Australians? I'm not saying that climate change isn't an issue. That's not the question. It's about the proportionality of the airtime that you give to it. It's about the proportionality to what are average, ordinary Australians caring about.
When I look at what are the issues facing our country, I think housing and intergenerational inequity is absolutely critical. Now, climate doesn't go away, however, just because we want it to, and the impact of climate change is being felt in our insurance premiums, and it will be felt in terms of some of the transitions that we need to make. But I think that the point that we need to do is to face where people are right now, and so that's why my focus at the moment has been around tax reform, because for me, I think that, and for the community that I represent, people are telling me time and time again that young people can't get ahead, that our businesses cannot thrive. You know, we've got productivity that is going backwards, went backwards over the last 10 years more than any, was the lowest productivity in the last 10 years for 60 years. And also we have an energy transition which we do have to undertake, but the tax system's not underpinning it. So I think that this, I try very hard to listen to the community of Wentworth and what they think is important, and certainly those are the issues that people worry about, including climate is one of them, but there are many others as well.
I do think we need to be really careful about differentiating between temporary issues and more permanent issues. Now, that said, what I think cost of living has done in a really interesting way following the pandemic is actually shine a light on a bunch of areas that people kind of thought were okay. So take bulk billing and GPs. I think people kind of were watching it get away from us, but not really thinking about it too much because everybody had a lot of money, is the truth. You know, as a society, Australia had a lot of money. But then suddenly people couldn't afford a whole bunch of things. And suddenly everybody notices the bulk billing rates are not where they were. Now, I think a similar thing happened in the pandemic. Suddenly the pandemic pointed us towards housing problems. It pointed us towards the difference between renting and owning, the difference between good employers and bad employers. And I think cost of living is doing a similar thing. And I think those two crises on top of each other is actually reshaping the way a lot of people think about politics. And I think, though the problems are bleak, the shift in people's perceptions is potentially really positive and constructive.